Hey everybody, welcome to the review of ReZero episode 4 with
Me, hello, I'm Zach.
and Rob. Zach and Rob here to talk ReZero. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty hyped,
Pretty hyped.
pretty hyped.
So, I don't know about you, but I have to not get into everything, but just I feel like this episode went by so fast and so many different things and plot points were happening all at once. And
Oh
did it
yeah.
feel that way to you?
Um, they so that no, you're absolutely right. It did. I was like, are they just not gonna show the Garfield Mimi fight? Because that was like a pretty big deal. And then excuse me. And then they did, and it was like, all right, he did threw two punches and then ran away.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, there was more to it. Like, Mimi was getting it. She was in there. She wasn't just like she was like, yeah, we should not fight these guys, but she was throwing blows in the books. Sorry, in the book, she was throwing blows.
Yeah, I was because I'm sorry, guys. I just want to talk about this real quick because it's like I felt like there were so many. I'm trying to think just off the top of my head. You have the Reinhardt felt stuff initially. You have the Mimi Garfield stuff that happens. Then you have the invasion of the office, the operation to take back the government office. I think that's the episode
And you have a
title.
motherfucking dragon.
Yes, and you have
Dragon.
a dragon, and you. So it's. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff. You have two witch cult members who just know how to throw hands. Like usually when you see a witch cult member, they don't know how to throw hands. They're just kind of like they were fingers a lot last time, to be honest. But like I feel like most of the time I see a witch cult member, I'm like, oh, not like the guys in the hoods, not the actual
Yeah,
like
yeah,
archbishops. I'm always
yeah,
like, the fodder.
yeah,
But no,
yeah, yeah,
these
yeah.
people know how to fight. So
They do indeed.
anyway, let's backtrack. I just feel like there's so much going on this episode that
Yeah,
it's
there's so
hard.
much going on. It's done in 22 minutes and it's over.
Yeah. So where do you want to start off? Because there's any plot point retrospectively, I'm fine with going for.
Okay, so I'm gonna start. So we catch up with Subaru and the gang, right?
Hmm.
So they're still convening where we left off last episode. Like, all right, here's the plan. Here's what they want. Blah blah blah. They get interrupted by Garfield, who's like, I have Mimi and she's dying, and they're like, oh shit. Then it's like, all right, time to go attack uh, the central office because we can't move the witch's bones for reasons. And then we go see Garfield's flashback with Mimi and fight. Didn't win. That's it. And then we get a sneak peek of where Reinhardt is,
Yeah. So
which I'm like currently reading the books at like a little before the episodes are aired. In the book that I just finished, it does not mention where Reinhardt is. So I learned something.
you learned
It makes
something
a
new
lot of
today.
sense because I'm like, why would Reinhardt not be here?
So I wonder when this happened, like how quick and I mean, Subaru does go unconscious, so it probably I don't know exactly how much time went by because on the loop where he calls Reinhardt, how much time goes by from that point till him going unconscious and waking up? Is it the next day? Has it been a couple
No,
hours?
it's I think it's barely an hour. I think is
So
what they say when he wakes up. Because he only had 15 minutes or whatever from the park to the Cirrus fight. And then after that, when he woke up, I think they said it's only been an hour because they were doing mass evacuations. It could have been a little longer, but actually, I don't know how the time works because the first time the bell rings, the clock tower chimes, right?
mhm.
Cirrus and Regulus fuck off. And then this time in this episode, it rings again, and the dragon is like, all right, fuck off. So maybe it's only been an hour.
So the difference from an hour then, or a couple, like let's give it five just for the funsies, 5 to 6 hours is Reinhardt being able to help Subaru felt being detained by his
Daddy,
Reinhardt's father,
Daddy
that
Reinhardt.
Daddy Reinhardt, because I cannot tell you his name to be perfectly honest, couldn't tell you.
I
So
think it begins with a K. I can't tell you either.
yeah, So in that time, that's such a quick succession. And what was his reasons like the witch? Like I was trying to figure out if this is he just what's the reasoning behind this
What
again?
do you mean with
Like
Danny
why is he
Reinhardt?
putting why is he putting like I think he says like I just feel like there's missing pieces. Obviously, you don't know the answer. I'm just trying
That's
to
why
figure out
I want to do rampant speculation.
rapid speculation. Let's go. We're talking about it.
Okay, okay. So if you recall Al, right? The
Yes, he
one-armed
had
knight,
something
this
else to
whole
do.
thing.
Yep. Yep.
Al has information. Al names the witch that remains, or I'm sorry, Al names the witch whose remains are in the city. Al knows not to talk to Gluttony about the real name. Al is working with Priscilla, who conveniently knew this meeting was happening in the city to begin with, and brings Daddy Reinhardt there. And Daddy Reinhardt seems to be operating under Priscilla's orders. I think Priscilla. So last week I speculated that Anastasia may have more information than she's letting on in terms of the witch cult. What if Anastasia and Priscilla have something going on? Or what if it's just, I don't think it's just Priscilla,
Yeah.
but it seems like Priscilla has other means. Just from that little snippet, I also could be totally off base, and uh, Danny Reinhardt's just pissed that Felt is going to get the Australia like domain when he is now with Priscilla. It could be
Yeah.
like a pride thing, but I think so. The two cultist members, the ones that can throw hands, as we said.
Yes. Is this spoiler territory? Because I do not want to be spoiled. I will once again
No,
say.
no, no. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. I know who both of those people are. The witch cultists, the two that can throw hands, as we said. I know who those two people. I know who those two people are. They are from the extras book that I just read before I started reading this arc. I know who the 4/8 arm guy is, and I know who the other swordsman is.
Yeah, Wilhelm seemed to have an idea possibly of who it was.
See, I just don't understand why they didn't put, because in the books, it's not mentioned. At least the part I'm at right now, it's not mentioned who they are. But the other character development for Wilhelm has already been mentioned in the book multiple times, and it's the reason why Mimi's wound is not healing. So it's connected. I don't know why they would just leave that part out. I
For
don't get it.
foreshadowing of something that they're probably going to show back, like somewhere they probably need to fill information. They're probably going to be like, here's an episode of this just to fill time. That's my assumption at least. Is they're going to tell us. It's just not happened yet based on
Right.
where we're at right now.
Yeah. And all I'll say is when Wilhelm is looking at Mimi as she is being healed or trying to be healed by Ferris, what does he do? He grabs his shoulder.
Oh, he
That's all I'll say
does.
about that. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
Leave it there.
So, I want to talk about. I mean, for a quick second, there's not much to say about the Mimi and Garth fight. Other like you've kind of said how it was a lot longer, which it felt like it was going to be a lot longer. They kind of you could tell this episode. I know I've already said this. It just felt rushed to me. It felt like this episode probably needed to be 40 minutes to tell everything that actually happened, but
I thought,
instead
yeah, I
took
seriously
20
thought that
minutes.
this whole episode, like the Gorgeous Tiger, like so the name of the last episode was Gorgeous Tiger.
Hmm.
I thought that was gonna just this whole episode was going to be the Mimi and Garf fight. At least
Yeah,
like 10 to 15 minutes of it.
I
I was
thought.
shocked it was only three,
Well,
five.
we started at the end of the episode going with Mimi and Garth were kind of like, okay, we're about to go find your kids, mom. That you don't know I'm your son, but I'm gonna find my brother and sister. And then we kind of just jumped into they get to the area. There's no like they were searching, running, and then it just felt like we were there already. It's like, oh wow, it just felt like the first minute was just not what I was expecting. I
And
guess.
what's even stranger is that what actually happens is that they're on their way to find the kids. But since they know the kids, they spent more time with the kids in the books. Since they know the kids are probably in a shelter safe, they know that Leara, they know the mom's new husband is one of
He's
the
in,
council,
yeah,
and yeah,
he's
he's in
there.
the city hall. So that's why they change. That's why Garth changes his mind because he's like, the kids are protected, but if I really want to show, because like they had like a moment with when he was talking about how he found her, and then Garth losing his mom, and like, oh yeah, I don't know her. He was trying to like connect and make it like it's kind of like a pride thing, like, oh, I can save him. He's in trouble because they're there.
Hmm.
Like, the cult is there, so I'm gonna go save him. That's why he changes his mind. Like,
Okay, that
clearly they run away and they're like, the kids are probably in a shelter because they went to go see the songstress.
okay, that makes
So
more sense to me because in my head
yeah,
I'm just like, we just are like, I know. Mimi goes, "What about our mission? We need to escape this." Which the mission then in my head while watching, I thought, "Oh yeah, you got to go find the kids, not find the dad."
yeah. So yeah, that I was like, okay.
But anyway, Mimi gets hurt. She's down for the count, and all her twins, like not down for the count, but she gets hurt. Slice.
Oh, no, she's down for the count.
Okay, she's not. I mean, she's alive, so I guess down for the count. Uh,
Barely.
but Garth is broken up about it, like he is, and I appreciate super. Like there's multiple times I was watching, and in my head I'm like, oh man, Garth's just not going to be able to fight. But like, props out to Subaru, props to Wolfman. I couldn't tell you his name.
Ricardo.
Ricardo? Did you say Ricardo?
Ricardo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I that's not what I thought he was.
Yeah,
His name's
that's his name.
Ricardo. Oh,
Yeah, his name's Ricardo.
shout out to Ricardo. Shout out all my dogs at the crib. Oh my god. Anyway, Ricardo, they give him a pep talk and it actually works. I thought we were going to dwell too much on it, but like I actually enjoyed that it was like he's like, okay, I'm ready to go now. Let's get on with it.
Right. And little little tad bit or tidbit, I should say, is Ricardo raised Mimi, Hiruto, and TB. They were abandoned by their mother, I guess. And Ricardo's the one that raised them. So the fact when he sees Mimi, because if Mimi dies, the other two die.
Yeah,
And
because
the
they're all
fact,
connected, right?
yeah, and the other two siblings staying behind is because they're taking the wound away. Because the wound is unhealable. Ferris said he couldn't use healing magic. Like, and I'm so irritated. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about I don't know why they don't have this point made already. Um, but Ferris tries to use healing magic. It's not healing, so he's got to use like they call it primitive methods, but it's he just
Normal
goes in there
medicine.
and like he like sutures the wound himself or whatever.
Yeah. So like what a
And
doctor would do, like in our
yeah,
world.
right. But the wound itself won't heal. So TB and Hiruto are taking the pain and taking most of the wound onto them, so they're down for the count. Because if they don't and she dies, the other two will die.
Okay.
So that's another reason why Ricardo hypes up Garfield, but like he hypes him up even more in the book. He's like, "Come on, we got to do this. Like it's time to go."
Mm-hmm.
So
All right. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other things that happened before the big fight. I think that's. Is there anything else that happens in this episode? Obviously, I will say this. I I keep thinking because it's like the ReZero formula, which we talked about a couple. I don't know, it might have been episode one actually. We should didn't get upload, but we talked
after
before.
episode one,
We talked and said like how Subaru there's a pattern of he dies, he resets, he dies, he resets. And in my head, I keep watching this thinking he's going to die here because seems like a spot for him to die. Doesn't die, and now I feel like we're at the point now where this story is he's going to die not often. Like it's going to be a rare occurrence for him to die, and it's going to be like we're just telling the story kind of straight. Obviously, he's going to
right?
die still, and it's going to happen. But like, I don't know when. I'm already done trying to guess when and while watching it. I'm just going to assume if it happens, it happens. But
Well, I also think he died so many times in Sanctuary that it was just that constant grind of like, oh my god, I got to get through this.
mm-hmm.
And like
So
I said, his I did like they did leave part of that character development that I was mentioned in episode one of this thing we're doing that needs to be released. Um, where they like toned down his growth from being like a knight. Like they showed it in here, like where he's like, yeah, I would like to say I want to go after Amelia, but I realize the bigger threat is the other witch cult members.
Hmm.
And Julius wants to be his bro.
Yeah, Julius is a bro. Like Julius is
And
like, hey, he's such a
yeah, he's
bro.
always been a dick to him. Like it's just like, bro, that's your bro, man. Like Julius
Yeah.
is a bro.
So, we get to the big fight. It's pretty much the two henchmen. I call them henchmen. They're way more than that, obviously. Versus almost everybody, and even with everybody, with Crush, with Wilhelm, right? I'm sorry, not
It's yeah, Wilhelm, yeah.
Wilhelm. Okay, I thought,
That's how I
yeah,
pronounce it in my head.
Wilhelm, Garf, Subaru, Crush. Like you gotta, and then Ricardo and
Ricardo, yeah.
Julius. You have a squad, and they are still not able to really like stop this. I think if you give them more time and that fight kept going, they would win, to be honest. But obviously, the Witch of Lust comes into play, and I did not expect her to be a dragon. And also, I don't know if they're eggs or not. We see them at first when the episode starts, but we don't really see them again. Like on the field, they're like the black spheres. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, in the book they're described as fleshy masses. So they weren't described as eggs,
They're not just
but
okay, but
that it definitely looks like eggs.
yeah.
I don't know why they didn't just call them eggs. That like the way I just saw it, I'm like, all right, that's more of what I'm getting. I get it now because like they described it as fleshy, like blobs.
Hmm.
I'm
So
like,
yeah, they
okay,
so we get there, and the lust is got that crackling laugh that honestly perfect for Halloween time, I guess. Like, but it's she's got a power to regenerate like completely. Like we're talking about like Fomo Alchemist Homunculi, like Majin Buu esque regeneration. It seems.
yeah. So it's gonna be really hard to kill that dragon.
Is she always a dragon? I guess we don't know.
Guess we'll
Well,
find out.
I
I
mean,
guess we'll find out.
based on episodes and stuff, I know, or some openings that happen. I feel like she's probably got another form, but
I plead the fifth.
yes. Not much to me to talk about the fight. Obviously, they work. It's fine. They fight.
What,
They split
dude?
up.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why are you rushing through the fights? Like you are rushing through them.
Yeah, I guess it's just they think people don't watch ReZero for the fights. Which the first episode, mind you, and I thought the second episode, even the third episode, we were seeing these fight. I guess they did skip a fight in the second episode, but we've been seeing fights fleshed out. This episode just felt completely rushed. Like
Well, it even goes back to the Cirrus like when we first meet Cirrus and Subaru like attacks her. Like remember I said she
yeah,
gets
yeah, yeah.
thrown by the
That's
bed?
what I was getting at. Yeah, like they skipped that entire sequence.
Yeah. And why? Like why?
I don't. It's. I don't know. Obviously, I do know. Like you have a time crunch. Obviously, there's things like when I edit videos retrospectively, it's like this video needs to be 4 minutes, but the best story might be 7 minutes long. But you got to make it 4 minutes because that's what is needed. So I understand there's probably some reason, airtime, whatever, that they can't do it. But like, I mean, we didn't even get an opening this episode, and it still didn't feel like enough time. Like they should have skipped the ED. We got an after credit scene. I don't know if you watched the after credit scene.
No, I didn't because that seems like it's gonna be more spoilers to I'm trying to read through, like I said, the book. I try to stay
Well, I'm
on
gonna
book.
talk about it at
I
some
didn't see
point.
it.
The,
Yeah,
the,
no, I'll go back and watch it. I'll have it ready for next episode.
okay, so I can't say nothing.
All I saw was uh uh the songstress Priscilla and Al floating down a boat. Then I turned it off. I didn't want to see anything else.
Fun fact: I missed that when I skipped it, so I did not see that part of it.
That's the first thing.
I saw something. So I skipped through the most of the ED playing, and there's something else that popped up, so I did not notice that
Oh,
happened.
is there a post credit scene?
Yeah, there's a post credit scene.
Oh, I missed it.
No, what you're seeing from them on the boat, that's just the normal ED. I'm
The
talking about
ending,
there's a
right?
I'm talking about the post credit scene.
Oh, I'm out.
Yeah, so our camps separate. You have uh Ricardo and Wilhelm.
Ricardo.
It seems I think Garth stays down there as well. I don't know how much they all separate. I know Julius,
Three and
Subaru,
three.
3 and 3. Okay, Julius, Subaru, and with Subaru grabs Crush and goes up with Julius in his wind tunnel. Uh, but up there is Gluttony, also dripped out in I feel like what's Japanese attire. It seems like
I must have
it's
missed
not
that.
like the
Like
glut.
I saw the scene. I'm just saying I must have missed the outfit part.
Oh, he's just like in a green outfit that kind of looks like something we haven't. Maybe it's what he normally wears. He just doesn't have that cape around him. It's a different demeanor. It's like the first time we kind of see. It's the same character, but like you're seeing more of him in the sense of I feel at least viewing it. I feel like, oh, he's a different type of vibe than I thought he was.
Yeah, well, he totally. Well, doesn't he? Wasn't he shirtless when we saw him with Otto?
I
Because like
believe he could have
he
been
had like
shirtless.
his raging 8 pack.
Yeah, he had like a raging 8 pack. He's clothed now. He doesn't seem as unhinged. Like he just doesn't seem as unhinged. He seems way more like stoner esque. Like, hey, bro. Like he's
Yeah,
still a
kind of
little
like a hippie, right?
unhinged. Like,
Yeah,
say it again.
he seems more like a hippie.
Yeah, like he seems more like a hippie. Like, oh, bro, I'm just trying to. He's high, trying to eat as much food as he can get his hands on. That's the
Right.
vibe I'm getting from him way more versus the other Gluttony seems just chaotic, like straight like a maniac. And maybe that's who he is. It just doesn't give that vibe.
Right. I don't know.
So, and like his face even kind of looks different to me. I'm like, why? I have the episode playing with in silence, and I'm rewatching it. Everything about it seems a little bit. He just seems different. But obviously, Subaru is with Julius. I feel like Subaru's got a calm head. He's not gonna go too crazy about fighting Gluttony. Uh, I know I just said there's no
No, he's
reset points I
fighting
was gonna.
Lust.
You said what?
He's fighting Lust right now.
Subaru's fighting Gluttony. He's like,
Oh, oh, right. I'm fighting Gluttony. Sorry.
you're in the books. You're telling. Is he fighting less in the books right now? Then.
No, I misunderstood what you said. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. But he's with Gluttony. The episode ends, and then we get a
And
little
we get
sneak peek of some creepy Regulus because that's not where I thought. Some very creepy
so
Regulus.
yeah. You just mentioned this, so I had to take a time out and go watch it. Um, and yeah, my man Regulus is horny.
Yeah, I just was not expecting what he said.
That
I was first. I was like, okay, Amelia's naked. I was like, that's not cool. First off, and then I was just like, and then I'm like, okay, maybe he just had a maid come in. He probably and did that. Maybe he did. But either way, I mean, he's a bad guy, whatever. But like, I was just like, all right, Regulus. I kind of had in my heart, I'm like, well, Regulus, of all the Sin Archbishops, you're the one I'm looking at. Like, you seem kind of chill enough. You're still a little unhinged, but you're kind of the most chill one of all of them that we've seen and encountered. And then he's just like says his line at the end
yeah. Yep.
and I'm just like, oh, this is like getting some like Joffrey levels of stuff when Joffrey's like,
What did I
senses.
what did I text you? What did I text you last week?
I don't remember.
I said shit gets Game of Thrones level of fucked up.
Oh, you did, and yes,
Didn't I?
it is getting to that level of Game of Thrones when Joffrey talking about Sansa, and I'm just like, I feel uncomfortable. Obviously, Joffrey was way. I think Joffrey's still way worse than Regulus is, but like,
Well, yeah, we'll see.
we'll see. We see what Regulus also does, because I mean, he's not a great guy, obviously. But I don't really have much speculation for that, other than
What do you think my notes. What do you think the significance of it with the witch being who the witch is for the city? Do you remember what the name of the witch is?
On the top of my head, no, but it was not the Witch of Envy. It was one of the other witches, and I remember. I mean, they were at the tea party, and I just can't remember which witch it was.
Typhoon.
Typhoon, yes, and Typhoon is the Hawaiian-looking one, right?
What's
Am I?
that?
Is Typhoon is the Hawaiian-looking one? Like
Yeah,
she's,
there's one that looks like a kid.
yeah, that's Typhoon. Yes, I.
And so this is kind of what we can go back to rampant speculation. She is the witch of pride.
Oh, I mean that makes sense based on how she acts even in Sanctuary when she's like, I feel like that makes sense.
So when we met, and this is going to be a little off topic for the episode, but if that's okay.
We can go a little off topic, yeah.
So when we met Betelgeuse, he asked if Subaru was pride.
Yes, he did.
And then Roswell said he was trying to make Subaru a sage. And in one of the other books during that same arc, during the Sanctuary arc, I forget who else says it. I think it is Roswell says I was going to make you the sage of pride.
Hmm.
And then uh everyone keeps asking Subaru if he has a god like Betelgeuse asked Subaru if he has a gospel, all that jazz, whatever. Is Subaru going to become an archbishop with an authority? Because he technically has um Betelgeuse's authority of unseen hands.
Yeah.
But Betelgeuse also had the multiple fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think Subaru is going to get become an archbishop?
Maybe. I I could see him taking the like not in a bad way if that makes sense. Like he's like I'm the archbishop of this and like use like the qualifications of it in some devious way that super only a plan that Super could come up with. Like in a way of like we've seen it before when he's talking to Betelgeuse and he's like acting differently. Betelgeuse like, "What's up, brother?" Pretty much like he didn't say brother or anything, but like he's like, "Oh yeah, man, you know." He was acting cool with Subaru because Subaru's like, "Oh, you remember? I can't fully remember season 1. Like I'm going off,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
like so
Also,
Subaru can float. If Subaru wants to, when he's talking to some people, he could throw around clout because he smells like
the witch.
them. Yeah, he smells
Yeah.
like the witch. So it's like I could see him using that like he did there for an advantage, but he'll never, in my head, be like just a straight up archbishop fighting for their side.
Oh no, not fighting for their side. I just meant having authority of the archbishop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see that happening for sure. No way.
Also,
Not. Why would you throw all these Easter eggs of it and not
right.
do that?
And this is gonna sound really bad. So it's been a while since before I started reading the current arc. Um, I took a break between the show and the book, so I don't really remember this. When did we find out the witch of envy or jealousy summon Subaru to kill her? Was that mentioned?
That happens in Sanctuary. When he's leaving Sanctuary, and
Is that at the
he's
tea
saying
party?
his the tea part like during the end of the tea party, he's talking to all the witches, and that's like the last thing he sees before he's back in there. Like, but his
Because
psyche's back. So yes, that has happened in the anime.
okay,
And I did read the web novel at that time because I remember reading the web novel of Sanctuary. Like, what was that? 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
I remember her. Okay, because I remember her saying that, but Subaru does not mention killing her since that. Like Subaru does not, because in the book when they're talking about who the witch's remains, he says the witch of jealousy isn't dead. She's in slumber. And that's the reason why everyone hates Amelia
Oh,
because she's not dead. They're afraid she's going to come back, and I think this might have a larger uh thing to what's going on because we don't know who wrote the gospel.
Nope.
Um, and for whatever reason, Roswell had a copy. Um, and I don't think it was Ekidana's copy. But then Beatrice had like a fake copy, and then Subaru has Pedal Juice's copy, doesn't he?
I believe so. I don't recall though, so I'm not confident. And
Yeah. So I don't know. It's crazy. I feel like I'm
yeah,
just rambling at this point. I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
But like
Uh,
that's what I was thinking. And I want to know what's up with Al because spoilers. Never mind.
keep it to yourself,
You already
Zach.
know. I
I
already
know,
told
but
you this.
yes, I know, but it doesn't mean the audience knows. The the few of you
That's
that
it.
made it this far, I mean, you probably do know, but in case you don't, I don't want to say it because the show just hasn't said it. So,
And the other thing I want to speculate on, I'm not going to because we already said I'm not gonna ruin it.
yep, keep that speculation to yourself. But I don't know, I didn't mean to point the finger at you. I'm sorry. I'll leave. I'm sorry, Zach. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Anyway,
So I
uh,
guess
you want to end it there?
yeah, I mean like I said, episode felt rushed.
Yeah,
I
it's
hope
my least favorite episode of it.
these
That's for sure.
I hope this isn't indicative of like the rest of the season.
I don't think it will be because I'm going to go with the first three episodes. I felt no rush at all through that, and this is the first one I felt like that felt like all right. Let's get to the next point. It felt like let's get the check marks going. Like okay, next thing. Okay, we gotta add this next thing. I don't think we're going to get that per episode.
So I saw someone say that they are potentially going to adapt things from Arc 6 in this season
In
because
this
Arc
core, like the of the 8 episodes, or like the
of the
16
probably
episodes.
the back half
Yeah, probably. I can only imagine this will have to be at least 2 arcs. I mean, you saw
because
the first episode's 3 episodes retrospectively.
right. Well, Arc 5 has it's the shortest arc, I think. One, two, three, four, five. There's 5 books.
Is this for the review, by the way, or are we just talking?
I don't know. I was gonna say I because um I forget what point I was gonna make. Arc 4 was 6 books, 6 books long. Arc 5 is 5, and um yeah, I just hope they slow down because there's uh yeah, I just don't want them to rush through all the battles. That's all.
Yeah, I will agree. I hope they slow down. I mean, it's the same way of no matter what when you read the like if it feels like this is how I view it as an
Yeah.
anime only viewer of ReZero. If I feel like it's rushed, it's rushed. Like in the sense of me watching it, it feels rushed. That means it's probably rushed. It's hard for me as a light novel reader of Mushoku Tensei. I'll go with because every episode feels rushed in comparison to reading it because you're just like you get so much more information, no matter what. Like you just do when you
Yeah,
read a book of it. So like it's that difference of is this rushed in the light novel sense? Probably because it's always going to be. But does this feel rushed in just normal anime terms? And for this episode, that is a resounding yes.
yeah. I just don't understand why. Because like it almost seemed like I guess it's because we got the first episode right, and that was 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the start of the arc, so you have all this stuff going on, but it's like evenly paced out. You cut out some of the fluff, and but you got the main idea, right?
Yeah,
And every other episode, like I said last week, I didn't like where they cut the speech, where Subaru wakes up and they're like talking about what's going on, and the credits are rolling, and then boom, that's it.
that's it. Boom, bada bang.
Also, sorry, one last thing, and then we can be done. So, in the book, Ferris um has healed like Ferris's healing magic like is helping Subaru recover, but it doesn't instantly heal his leg. Like it's just helping it recover faster. Um, but initially, uh, Ferris didn't want Subaru to go with the party to the city hall because like your leg's going to um not make it. So instead, what Ferris takes away Subaru's pain receptors in his leg. So his
Oh,
leg is still fucked, like
he's
super
just
fucked. Like he can't,
yeah.
like in the book, he can't even stand up because it hurts so bad. So Ferris takes his pain away. So when he lands on the rooftop with Krush, and he's like, "Oh, my leg!" Like he can't feel that,
Ah,
but he knows, like, and Krush even says, like, "Your leg is bleeding. Like you are
yeah.
still bleeding." He's like, "I know, but if it's worth it," he says something along the lines of like, "If it's worth it to defeat the archbishops, then I'll just have it fall off or something." But yeah, I just
Eh.
thought that was funny that they put that in there, and I'm like, oh, well, he actually can't feel the pain in his leg right now.
It's just maybe it's just the thought of it.
I just think it was for like comedic
Comedic
effect,
effect. Yeah. Yeah.
which it
But
works. It is funny.
yeah. But alrighty, y'all. What did you guys think of the episode? Leave your comments down below. And I think that's it from us. So, ciao.
Bye.